Spacehawk and the Vulturemen from the Void by Basil Wolverton. From out of black space comes a horrible menace to the Earth, people. Then Spacehawk steps in and does some high-powered menacing of his own. Spacehawk, powerful and mysterious champion of law and order among the planets, is speeding close to the Earth's moon when he spies something peculiar on its surface. That's strange. There isn't supposed to be any air on the moon, and yet there's an air glow in one of those craters. Spacehawk swoops down to investigate. He drops straight toward one of the yawning craters and lands on its vast and rugged bed. The gorges indicate enough air here to make this crater habitable. Now to find out how that air got here and why. Very faintly at first, a flow of evil thought waves drifts into contact with Spacehawk's powerful, penetrating mind. They are caused by creatures only a short distance from Spacehawk's ship. A ship has landed in the crater Glac. Don't worry about it, even if its occupants are interplanetary police and clever enough to find our hidden abode. They'll never return to their ship. Well, I never would have guessed I would find my ancient enemies, the Vulturemen, in this solar system. Spacehawk, yes, it is the Spacehawk. The keen dislike is mutual, I'm sure. I warn you, Gluck, and you, Orat. If you're here for no good, you'll come to a quick end. Still, the brave defender of the peace, Spacehawk? I'm warning you, don't interfere with our plan to take over the Earth. When that is accomplished, our people will migrate here from our solar system. No, if you don't mind, we're extremely busy. You'll be much busier trying to save your hides if you don't leave the solar system. I'll give you just 48 hours to get out, or else... Spacehawk leaps backward through the door and disappears then. The conceited fool. I'll blast him to ribbons before he gets halfway to his ship. But Spacehawk is whisked straight into the sky by his anti-gravity belt, and from there, by mental telepathy, he signals one of his robot men to bring the ship to him. Look, the ship is heading into the sky, but where is Spacehawk? He slipped through our fingers. That means we'll have to work fast. Prepare to projectile and be ready to fire it right after I send my message to the Earthlings. A few minutes later, millions of Earth's telsor screens are mysteriously covered with Gluck's evil visage. I'm Gluck, one of a super race dwelling in a far distant solar system. My people desire to inhabit your Earth. Leave at once, or a horrible plague will destroy you, a plague 1,000,000 times as great as the mere sample I am about to send. Spacehawk, now safe in his ship outside the crater, receives Gluck's message. Then he sees a huge sword or cannon just up from the crater bed and belch forth a giant projectile. By means of his long-distance telectroscope, Spacehawk follows the flight of the missile. For hours it streaks toward the Earth's orbit. Upon reaching the fringe of that planet's atmosphere, it slows down and drifts down over a busy street in New York. There it explodes, throwing streamers of a strange green gas in all directions. People scream in agony as the lethal fumes touch their skins. Panic ensues and all is confusion. Within a very few minutes, the street is littered with skeletons, for the fiery gas sent by the Vulturemen has consumed all flesh within its range. Pandemonium reigns throughout the earth as news of the catastrophe is flashed abroad. Telectroscopes scan the skies for signs of invaders, and thousands of armed ships plunge into space to intercept any possible enemy. I might have prevented this, but I had no definite reason to deliberately murder those vulturemen on sight. Now it's up to me to wipe them out. Braving the anti-spacecraft atom cannons, he realizes the vultureman must have a spacehawk roars high over the crater and pours down a fiery blast from his electron gun. To his surprise, the charge is deflected in mid-air. I expected him to attack us. Once he could see we mean business. But that invisible bumper beam I just spread across the crater will keep us safe. Next time he flies over temporarily, shut off the beam and let him have a charge from one of the atom cannons. Spacehawk springs his surprise by climbing high, then swiftly dropping straight down and parking his ship on the solid bumper beam at a position exactly above the vulturemen's quarters. If you send any more projectiles to Earth, Glug, you will have to shut off your bumper beam for the moment. And if you do that, my ship will crash down and destroy you and your equipment. Your bumper beam idea has us in a fine predicament, Glug. Now we can't fire at him without his falling on us. Shut up. There must be a way out of this. Probably he's bluffing. Surely he wouldn't destroy himself to destroy us. He's not bluffing. Look, he's leaving his ship just in case it does fall. But it is not to save himself that Spacehawk, attired in space armor, races across the bumper beam toward the edge of the crater. With one tremendous leap, he clears the towering rim and disappears in the distance. A few minutes later, Spacehawk is in the underground abode of a tribe of moon people. Spacehawk, my friend, it is good to see you again. What brings you here? I have a favor to ask, Chief Ludop. Men from outer space are using an air-filled crater above us as a base from which to attack the Earth. If you will give me a few men, I may be able to prevent this attack. Anything you wish is yours. Take your pick from any guards. With a small group of moon men, Spacehawk follows an ancient lava artery leading up towards close to the bed of the crater in which the vulturemen are situated. Using their silent rock-cutting weapons, the men quickly bore up into the crater. The vulturemen are concealed under that mound of lava. Try to engage their attention without endangering yourselves. I have other work to do. Look, Glug! Men are coming this way. How'd they get into this crater? They'll be sorry they came. Hand me an atom rifle. Crackling charges spit from Glug's rifle and scream toward the distant figures. The moon man, on the alert for anything to happen, drops safely into a ravine. Whoever they are that made them crawl into their shells, they won't dare come nearer. Spacehawk's ship is gone. Gone? That proves he was bluffing. But where did it go? Why didn't you keep an eye on it? Now we can shut off the beam and send another projectile. The Earthlings are foolishly preparing to resist. We'll prove how futile that is by sending enough gas to destroy all the people in that metropolis they call New York. Meanwhile, Spacehawk has sent out thought commands to his robots aboard his ship, and they have whisked the craft away to a position just out of sight on the crater's rim. Under constant telepathic commands, the robots connect two electricity beam projectors to the ship's mighty electronic generators. With the generators running full blast, The positive and negative beams are trained on a section of metallic deposit near the crater's rim. Gradually, under the fusing action of the beams, rock and metal turn to a fiery liquid mass. The molten matter increases and flows toward the crater's rim. With a roar that rocks the moon, it plunges thousands of feet to the crater's bed. At that moment, the Vulturemen fire the second deadly missile toward Earth. There must be a live volcano in the crater's wall. Lava is pouring toward us. We'll be lost. Quick, set the spacesuits. We've no time to get the ship out. Don't be alarmed, man. My helpers up on the rim are causing all this. You'll be safe if you return to your underground domain and seal the tunnel behind you. Thanks for the help. As the Moon Men disappear into the ground, Spacehawk sees the Vulturemen, lifted by anti-gravity elements, shoot into the sky. The next moment, the fiery flood sweeps over their quarters, destroying everything. Spacehawk leaps up to the crater's rim and races to his ship. Gluck and Orad are horrified to see the ship roaring toward them. It's Spacehawk, he's going to run us down. But Spacehawk has other plans. He sends out one of the robots to seize the Vulturemen and bring them into the ship. I ought to break your necks right now, but I have a better way for you to die. But we have done nothing. We had decided to give up our plan and leave the moon. You have no reason to hold us. Why lie to me? Right now you're gloating over the fact that you at least managed to send that second projectile to Earth. No doubt you'll be disappointed to learn that this ship is capable of a much greater speed than that of your projectile. Within an hour I shall overtake it and bring it back to the moon. Upon overtaking the missile, Spacehawk moves carefully up to it and clamps it to the ship by means of a magnetic grabber. He returns to the moon and drops the projectile in a part of the air-filled crater, not covered by the molten metal. There it explodes, spewing its horrible gas for miles in all directions. Now I'm going to rig you two up with just enough anti-gravity power to gently drop you into the crater. If your skins are as tough as your hearts, the gas won't burn you. You'll pay for this. Our people will gladly cross the universe to avenge us. You wouldn't dare. We are Vulturemen, the highest type of civilization. Before Gluck and Orad reach the ground, they are shrieking and writhing in the torments of their own creation. Spacehawk swoops down for a last look and sees all that is left of the murderous beings from outer space. That was an unpleasant job, but that's what I'm here for. Now that it's over, I'd better let the Earth people in on what it's all about. Another weird Spacehawk adventure in next month's Target Comics. Thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.